I agree with you, but god damn am I tired of the Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters breaking up in this franchise. Break up more times than Taylor Swift.
Welcome to Termo Boys Podcast. I'm your host Cody. With me in second chair is the boy who's the extreme Termo Boy as opposed to the fake Termo Boy. It's Jeremy.
Extreme or nothing.
Right on. With me in third chair is the boy who's currently working on getting his own extreme cartoon. It's Ryan.
Going on.
Sorry, boys, I ran out of quippy intros a long time ago, Ghostbusters. So we're just
It's very
recycling.
understandable. Cody, I feel like we need a heavy metal riff on our intro.
You get the
Just doesn't feel
piano.
extreme enough.
Yeah, I don't have time to pull out the piano. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're finally at the end of Ghostbusters Mania, and with the final Ghostbusters cartoon, the Extreme Ghostbusters. It's spelled
There's a
E,
lot of ghostbusting.
a whole lot of ghostbusting. But here's the question, Jeremy, does this busting make you feel good?
I'm kind of in the middle, honestly. There were some things I really enjoyed about it, and then there were other things that I did not.
I think we'll be getting into that.
You
What
bet we will.
about you, Ryan? Did this busting make you feel good?
Surprisingly, yes. I went in this expecting to hate this cartoon because I'm old and attached to things of my youth, but it did.
Well, that's good to hear. I know you're the one who's
Get
very
inside.
opposed to Ghostbusters stuff. That ain't the originals.
What I'm opposed to Ghostbusters stuff.
You're opposed to change.
Oh yes, very much so.
As for me, I'm kind of gonna fall into the camp of Jeremy a bit. A bit is the key word. Did I enjoy this? Yes, I did. But there's some major flaws that I'm probably gonna mention. So first off, Jeremy, what'd you think about the new generation of Ghostbusters?
I felt like I was watching a lot of bratty kids in a Batman animated show that didn't have Batman or wasn't a number one cartoon.
Well, here's your little fun fact. The voice actor of Eduardo, he voiced Batman in The Batman.
I did not know that.
If you dig into the voice cast of this cartoon, there's a lot of famous people in there.
There's definitely some recognizable voices. Could I tell what they were in? No, but I have heard quite a few of them. Also, the music really reminded me of like the Batman animated series, and
Yeah,
just like the darker tones.
yeah, this was around that time. You can really see the influence of like late 90s cartoons in this.
And it works. Like I have no problem with it.
What about you, Ryan?
They're okay. They're very diverse.
The,
Yes.
the diverse Ghostbusters.
That's literally the first thing I noticed. You had the girl, you had the Hispanic guy, you had the black guy, and you had the crippled guy. But
Spot on.
here's the question for you, Ryan. Did it work?
Yes, yes, it did.
Now, did it work due to nostalgia? Because this type of cartoon, again, like saying this was out around the time the Batman animated series. Did it play on some of that nostalgia for you, Ryan? You're like, oh yeah, okay, I
Yeah,
remember watching stuff like this.
definitely part of that, but I didn't get the sense that the people that wrote, like the people whose idea it was to make this cast diverse, were sitting in an office lighting $100 bill on fire to light their Cuban cigar and then pat themselves on the back about how they champions of the underclass. It just seemed kind of, yeah, they're there. It's a diverse cast. This is how they work.
Well said, sir. Cody, how do you feel about that?
You
Did it play
boys
on your nostalgia?
you boys have both hit on what I'm gonna get at. So here's the thing about nostalgia. As I've said before, I didn't like Ghostbusters until I was an adult, and I know I've caught a few episodes of this was like when I was a kid and kind of checked out or changed the channel right away because I wasn't interested in Ghostbusters at the time. So yeah, there was a little bit of late '90s cartoonness in this that I enjoyed. I felt like they did add like a really diverse cast because they kind of want to be like a hey Ghostbusters for everyone type ordeal, so anyone can insert themselves in there. It's not like today, as Ryan said, where they're doing it out of malice and spite. Also, gonna have to agree with Jeremy. They bickered a lot. I have like two main complaints with the series. The first one is like everyone was always at each other's throats, and it barely ever got any better.
And that sums up the first season. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
There ain't such thing as a first season. But today we're going to be reviewing the first 13 episodes of the show because there ain't any seasons in this one like there is with the real Ghostbusters.
So we made our own season.
We just matched the real Ghostbusters. Before we start talking about problems and all that, Jeremy, who was your favorite Ghostbuster? And don't say Egon.
Oh, god damn it. I'll go with Eduardo. He got a couple chuckles out of me. Hated the girl, and the others were okay.
Ryan?
Peter Venkman.
He was mentioned.
Bateman was mentioned, but he was not in the first 13 episodes.
Probably this is what's known as a toughie. Maybe Garrett,
Maybe,
Cody, who you got?
definitely.
but also maybe Roland. I'm going between Garrett and Roland.
Roland was my second.
Yeah.
I found Roland to be like kind of bland.
That's why I related to him because I am also kind of bland.
But he was also probably the least annoying of all the kids.
Yeah. There's also
Yep.
Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Now, here's your little fun fact. In focus groups, Garrett was everyone's favorite because they viewed, well, everyone, by everyone I mean all the kids in the focus groups, but all the kids liked him because they viewed him as the leader and just how spunky he was.
Garrett as the leader, huh?
Well, that's what the kids viewed him as the leader. He seemed,
I guess because he was like full charged and always charged into situations.
Yep. As for me, I'm gonna have to go with Kylie because Goth Girl. Enough said. I wouldn't mind getting some
You're into
sloppy
that.
toppy from her.
Yep, there it is.
I hope everyone enjoyed all our Ghostbusters sloppy toppy jokes.
There was a lot of them. God damn it! Why couldn't I choose my boy Egon? You know he was the star.
It's a passing of the torch story, Jeremy.
It hurts. I don't want that torch to be passed. Long live Egon.
Well, luckily for us, Egon was in like every episode.
Exactly. It was wonderful.
Now, tell me what you boys think of this. I really think this is what a Ghostbusters Afterlife should have been. Like, we just jump straight into ghostbusting. We don't have Egon running off with everyone's equipment and dying to gozer a second time.
I agree with you because I would have loved to see more Egon. I don't feel, like I mentioned in a review, I don't feel it was quite justice. They did what they had to do for, the passing of the torch. Would have loved to see more Egon.
I agree with you, but god damn am I tired of the Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters breaking up in this franchise. Break up more times than Taylor Swift.
Surprised we haven't gotten songs about them.
Well, I mean, this is kind of like last time, except for when Ray contradicts what's going on, where they kind of ran out of ghosts to bust. But at least this time there wasn't like a 30-year gap.
Yeah.
Speaking of busting ghosts, I felt this was pretty intense. I did like their proton packs, like the green stream and how powerful they were.
I don't like change.
I'm going to go out here and say it. I really like the new trap they were using, the disc one, because you'd rather throw a trap rather than place a rectangular thing down and slide it and hope it doesn't fall over or something.
Hey,
Yeah.
now, in the real Ghostbusters, they were pretty good at throwing that thing when they needed to.
I'm looking at it from a realistic approach, Jeremy.
Like throwing a goddamn brick.
Well, I can tell you it's easier to throw a frisbee than a brick. Now, before we start digging into the episodes, Jeremy, I know you mentioned that you thought the characters were kind of bickering and annoying. Do you have any other complaints about the series?
I felt, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like we saw the trump card in the beginning of every episode that was going to beat the bad guy, and that had me checked out on a few of the episodes. Like, oh, I already know what's going to happen.
I'll agree with you there. A lot of the episodes, I could predict what was going on, but that's because some of the solutions were really easy, and I know the story about the Jewish golem. Ryan, you got any criticisms?
I have mostly superficial criticisms. One, I don't like that Egon has a ponytail. Cut your damn hair. And two, I don't like the redesign of Slimer, even though it's kind of closer to the movie. I like the design of the real Ghostbusters Slimer. It's a little bit more friendlier. And this one, he looks like he's always about ready to go home and shotgun a beer and then beat his wife.
He was pretty fugly in this one. That did bother me.
I'll give you that, but I do have to say I much preferred this Slimer over the real Ghostbusters version. I thought it
You
was
hate
more.
the real Ghostbusters version.
I thought it was more toned down here, and it felt more appropriate.
Nope, nope. I'll take the other Slimer. Real Ghostbusters for me on this one.
Whatever.
And I found him like way more annoying when he tried to talk. Even though he didn't talk like a ton in this one, it was just way more annoying when he did.
Well, that's probably because of a voice actor change.
Maybe I was already pre-pissed.
Here's my main criticism, and you boys might pick up on this now that I'm about to mention it. It's a little bit on what Jeremy said, but I'm gonna go in the reverse here. Every episode was like 21 minutes long, and I felt like what happened in every single episode was the writers wrote a 20-minute episode, then they realized, like, oh shit, we need to finish this story, but we only have a minute left, and 30 seconds of those are credits. So it feels like every single episode, the final hoorah where they defeat the villain is like really, really fast.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like I would often check and be like, how much longer does this episode have? And it'd be like a couple, like 2 minutes before the final boss fight or something. I'd be like, oh, this is going to be quick. And yeah, it generally was.
Ryan, you got anything to add?
No, that's pretty much spot on. I remember every time I watched an episode, I would invariably like check how much time was left, which I didn't do on the previous series.
There were some ghosts in the previous series that were fastly defeated, but not. This is like rocket speed. It's a shame, really. I wish they would have had like 5 more minutes in every episode to work out.
Would you say it's extremely fast, Cody?
It's real fast, Jeremy.
Also, did you boys pick up on there was a lot less ghosts and a hell of a lot more demons in this, and that was like a theme throughout the series?
Yeah, I picked
Good
up
point.
on that. It's important to mention too that like Gozer, Zool, and Vince Chlorine.
Ortho.
I did that on purpose.
I know.
Got to keep it going.
They're interdimensional beings, and there was a lot of interdimensional beings in this one, so it makes sense.
Which I think is a cool concept. I had no problem with it.
I think Goraka was a interdimensional being too. All right, so let's dig into some of these episodes. Jeremy, if you had a list a favorite, which would it be?
I have two that's kind of like split down the middle for me. I would say Deadliners and the Pied Piper episode.
Deadliners is one of my favorites too. Basically, what happens is you have this like R.L. Stein parody character, and he writes horror novels. Of course, everyone should know who the hell R.L. Stein is. And it turns out that his book characters have come to life, and the Ghostbusters have to basically figure out what's going on and how to stop it.
That's a pretty dark episode. Like I really like the theme they went with for it. It worked in the Ghostbusters series.
That was common with all these episodes. Is these ghosts were like literally getting people. In this case, they were like doing like flesh shaping.
I felt from a lot of these episodes, these ghosts and or interdimensional beings or demons could have easily won. I felt like a lot of these ghosts were real threats.
Yeah, that was something else I noticed.
That's why I like Pied Piper so much.
Yeah, Pied Piper, episode 12. You got me laughing because I'm thinking about Jeremy. What you said is like you find out the solution to these at the intro of the episodes, but it's predicted. It's predictive.
Yeah.
You have a St. Patrick type character that comes in and chase off ghosts with his flute, and turns out he's the ghost controlling all of them. Story is old as I'm not gonna say time, but whenever St. Patrick chased all those snakes off.
That was a good episode. I felt like it was a real threat to the Ghostbusters, and like at one point, the Pied Piper actually takes like a whole bunch of kids hostage. I was like, wow, this is getting pretty dark. Like he's willing to do some shit.
I gotta say, I felt like that episode got hit with the ending going way too fast thing that I talked
Agreed.
about, where he really saw his ghosts on him, and they said like, "Oh, I bet we could attack him now that he doesn't have those ghosts in him," and then he's defeated, and like the whole children plot went nowhere because like, hey, why don't you fight me like a man? And then the children human shields going. I think that the episode just needed a little bit more time to breathe, which modern day commercials don't allow it to happen.
I think this whole series needed more time to breathe.
Ryan, what about you?
Deadliners and the pilot.
Ryan, the pilot's 2 episodes. That's not fair.
I'm just talking about the first. No, I'm just talking about the first episode of the pilot.
Oh, well, well, first off, I was joking. Second, I kind of debated if we were gonna discuss the whole pilot, but it looks like we are because Ryan liked it.
You're welcome.
It's nice because we get introduced to all the characters right away, and we see why that suddenly there's ghosts back in Manhattan, where you got all these construction workers digging up a brand new subway tunnel, and they release some ancient Mesopotamian ruins in the middle of North America.
And we get introduced to all these cool new characters like Egon, Janine, Slimer, and the Ecto One.
There was probably a whole lot of kids introduced to the series through this cartoon.
Probably so. Actually, I'm betting on it.
It went on for 40 episodes, so I mean it's kind of small, but well, thinking about it, the episodes only aired from September to December, so really it only got one season, but it was 40 episodes long, so probably been in development for a while. As for me, I'm gonna go out here and say that my favorite episode was the Infernal Machine. Ryan, that was an Indiana Jones game, right?
Fuck, you beat me to it.
I'm guessing that's a yes.
That is correct, sir.
Did the game have anything like what we watched?
No.
Well, in this episode, you go back in time to Galileo type or Leonardo da Vinci type character. I think it was 1600s. And he has a dream about a machine he wants to build. So he builds it, an evil ghost possesses it and tries killing him. And we go to modern day. That machine is in the museum, and the ghost comes back and has Roland build a even better machine. And the Ghostbusters have to figure out a way to defeat the machine. But I just love the whole concept. Like the ghost didn't like that humans were reaching for the stars, so he wanted to destroy all humans. And like the machines just looked like really cool.
Agreed.
Very disappointed that Indiana Jones didn't show up.
Would have been a great Harrison Ford cameo.
That's favorite episodes. Jeremy, did you have a least favorite episode?
I don't know. Really, most of the others just kind of fell flat to me. I don't think I enjoyed one less than the other. I just kind of checked out for some of them.
I don't think I had a least favorite episode. Just had like favorites, and the rest were like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, it's like, I could put this on as background noise type of thing.
I'm gonna agree with both you boys. There was really no bad episode. There was no Ray giving up ghost busting and dressing up like a bunny in a shoe store. Like,
Too soon.
Even like the worst episode was pretty decent. You know what? I really want to be a Ghostbuster now.
Welcome to the club.
A real one or an extreme one?
I think I'm gonna go a step above and go Max Ghostbuster.
I'm going to
Coming
go
in
real
2025.
extreme.
I really wish we would get a new Ghostbusters cartoon.
I just want another live action, but with Sam Hain. Is that too much to ask for? Oh, and he was teased in the intro while that heavy metal riff was going on. There's a very ugly Sam Hain that is shown in it. So at some point he shows up in the series. He has to.
He doesn't, unfortunately.
He doesn't?
Nope.
How are they going to have him in the goddamn intro and not bring him into the series?
It's called a cameo, Jeremy.
Well, I don't like intro cameos. That's just a tease.
Also called Blue Balls.
There's only one reoccurring ghost in this one, and it's called the Grundle.
Is that one we saw?
No.
Okay. I didn't remember.
Now, here's your question. Jeremy, did you do extra credit and watch the series finale?
I did not.
Ryan?
I'm ghost busted out.
I sure did.
For anyone who doesn't know, the series finale for the Extreme Ghostbusters, it's a two-parter, just like the pilot, and the old real Ghostbusters all show up, and they fight alongside the Extreme Ghostbusters. Fight metal eating monsters, not to be confused with Muncher and Afterlife, and they also fight the Bermuda Triangle.
Wait, how do you fight the Bermuda Triangle?
The Bermuda Triangle itself.
Oh my god.
Turns out it was a ghost.
The extra credit really changes what my favorite episode of the series was.
Did the two Slimers meet? How was their meeting?
There was only one Slimer, Jeremy.
The real Slimer wasn't here?
Yeah, it wasn't Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, but Jeremy, if you get bored, I'd recommend watching it because it's really a really fun episode.
I probably will. I wanted to, but I'm kind of tapped out on ghostbusting at the moment.
Yeah, I mean I can understand. I kind of had some time to burn and I watched it, but it gives you the perfect conclusion to all the Ghostbusters cartoons.
That is a cool concept. Yeah, god damn it. I'll have to watch it.
You won't be disappointed.
Buddy, did you pull a family? Did you pull a Peter Griffin when Roland was getting mad? It was like, I guess we're not the Ghostbusters. I guess they're the real Ghostbusters.
No, but now that you mention it, do you remember the episode with the monster taking like everyone's eyes that looked at the artifact?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Did you notice like all the like seeing and eye puns in there?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
When I'm thinking puns, I'm thinking that episode.
There was a lot.
All right, Jeremy, pass the topic on to you.
All right, boys. I had one favorite scene from all of them. Did not come from any of the episodes we mentioned. It came from episode 11, which I believe was the crawler episode, when Janine was being turned into a bug to be the queen of the crawler. And
Jeremy, you better not have a furry transformation fetish.
first of all, they're not furries. Second of all, it was the best thing Egon said in the entire series when he was getting ready to be consumed by the crawler. They're like, keep bringing Janine back, like sweet talk to her. And Egon said, wait, come back. We'll never find another office manager like you. I lost my shit.
That was pretty funny.
Like, tell her you love her. Like, is that appropriate? What you boys got for a favorite scene? Anything stick out?
I'm trying to think.
Sticks out like a sore thumb, huh?
I'm gonna go with it was either the pilot. I can't remember if it was part one or part two of the pilot, where the main villain, Akia, he possessed Kylie, and the possessed Kylie was like, "Kiss me, Eduardo." Karen Roland come like, "No, don't." I was like, "Why? She's legal."
I'm gonna go also with the pilot. Also, when Granny possesses Kylie, it just cuts to the outside of this her apartment building. I guess it was her apartment building. All the windows are red, and she just continually screams. And I was at a certain point, I was like, "Am I watching a cartoon or one of the Saw movies?"
I did think it was like a little overboard. Where the hell are her parents at?
Yeah.
That's all I got, boys.
Ryan, pass stuff gun to you.
Well, since you mentioned the extra credit, why was Peter Venkman redesigned to look like Huey Lewis from Huey Lewis in the News? It really bothered me.
Oh,
You
God
Although they
damn it,
did
now I
give him
got to
Bill
see it.
Murray's, although they did give him Bill Murray's original hairline.
This didn't sound like Garfield anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's your little fun fact. For the series finale, all the actors reprised their roles from the real Ghostbusters with an asterisk right next to it. The asterisk means that it was their ending voice actors. Arsenio Hall got replaced and Lorenzo Music got replaced and for Vinkman. I don't know the reason why Arsenio Hall got replaced. I don't know if he just got tired of it and the other guy replaced him, but the story I heard about Lorenzo Music is that on the set of Ghostbusters 2, Bill Murray went and asked someone, it's like, hey, why does Egon's character sound like Egon, but mine sounds like fucking Garfield?
Yeah, I read that too.
And they ended up replacing Lorenzo Music with someone that actually sounds like Bill Murray.
I like the
It's a
whole
good thing Bill
Vinkman
Murray didn't
Garfield.
go on to voice Garfield because that would just be awkward.
Wait a minute. Anything else, Ryan?
Favorite piece of equipment? I guess new equipment. You still sticking with the trap,
Yeah, I'm sticking with the trap. It's just better designed.
Jeremy?
I like the trap, but I really like Kylie's pistol pack.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
It was cool, but I mean, even in one of the episodes, it was mentioned that's weaker than the other proton packs. It was the Eye Demon episode.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? I still like it though. I thought it was pretty cool. It's a little change of pace.
Like we've said before, we want weaponization in Ghostbusters. What about you, Ryan?
I don't like change.
No problem asking the question, though.
I did not. Never said I wasn't a hypocrite. Probably the trap. I am attached to the old trap. Probably the trap. It was clever.
It's better from a design perspective, right?
Yeah. I just never had a toy of those when I was a kid. I did have a toy of the original trap though. It didn't open.
You don't want to know what was in there.
Could have been Egon. Should have opened it.
All right, Jeremy, final thoughts?
Worth seeing. I did absolutely enjoy it. Like I said, there was some repetitive stuff where I fell off and things that just were a little too obvious. But that also is kind of like how cartoons were back around the early 90s, I suppose. So, hell of a nostalgia trip. Worth watching.
Ryan, final thoughts?
Surprisingly good. Always have a soft spot for the original, obviously. But it's a good watch.
Yeah, I agree with you, boys. I always kind of blew this cartoon off because it was so different, but I had a good time watching it. Like I mentioned, there's some problems when it comes to the stories where they're just completed way too fast and easy, but even then, it's still respectable.
Yeah, you know what? One thing I do have to mention that's fair is quite a few of the villains, they had interesting little backstories too. Like they gave you a little bit of information about, oh, this was this demon god or this was this ancient race or something like that. Like I enjoyed that about it.
Yeah, all the ghosts were like really well developed, really well designed too. All right, Jeremy, it's time to scale it.
Oh
So,
boy.
on a scale of Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2016, where would you rank this?
Let's see. I'm gonna put it in between Afterlife and Frozen Empire. Final answer.
Ryan?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same.
I'll agree with you boys on that one. It doesn't hold up as well as the original cartoon. It's much better quality, but the writing errors are just too obvious on it and doesn't have this nostalgia factor of having the original Ghostbusters in it.
Well said.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Tairimo Boys podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, telling us how extreme you are. And don't forget to ring that motherfucking bell. Stay tuned for more episodes, specifically episodes that aren't Ghostbusters since we're all done with this now.
Yep. I'm out of bus.